The Vengeful Spirit Beneath the Moonlight Part 1. Shadows in the Old House. At the foot of Mount Huoshan in Shandong Province, there lay a small, quiet town, and at its edge, half swallowed by the forest, stood an ancient house. Its curved Qing dynasty roof tiles had darkened with time, wooden beams were cracked and weary, and the stone walls were stained with moss and shadow. The townsfolk called it the Haunted House, whispering tales of restless souls that once lingered within. But to Zhang Weihao, who had just moved in with his wife Liu Xiaoyun, it was nothing more than a place to start anew. Weihao, 38, had once been a successful businessman in Qingdao. Tall, sharply dressed and charming, he possessed the kind of smile that disarmed strangers, yet his eyes betrayed unease, a hidden darkness that even Xiaoyun, his devoted wife, had never fully understood. Xiaoyun, gentle and soft-spoken, loved her husband with a quiet devotion. She never questioned the coldness that sometimes crept into his voice, believing that love, if patient, could thaw even the iciest hearts. They came to this house after Weihao's business collapsed. He said the countryside would give them peace, a fresh start far from the noise of the city. But his true reason was more deceitful. His secret lover, Li Mengyao, lived nearby, a young woman who worked at a tea house in town. Part 2. Secrets Beneath the Lamp. The first night in the old house, Xiaoyun couldn't sleep. The place creaked and groaned like something alive. The wind howled through the cracked windows, and sometimes between gusts, she swore she heard whispers, faint, shivering voices calling her name from the dark. Weihao dismissed her fears with a wave. "It's just the wind," he said. "Old houses make old noises." But the unease clung to her like a chill she couldn't shake. Meanwhile, Weihao grew more distant. He often left at night, claiming to meet business partners. Xiaoyun said nothing. She had learned that silence was safer than confrontation. One night, when he thought she was asleep, she followed him. Through the misty streets, she watched him enter a small house on the outskirts of town where Li Mengyao waited. The sight cut through her like glass. She didn't cry out. She simply turned away, walking home in the moonless dark, her tears falling silently into the dust. Part 3. The Cruel Act. Weihao had been planning it for weeks. Xiaoyun in his eyes was no longer a wife. She was a burden, a barrier between him and the life he wanted. Divorce would cost him too much. It was Mengyao who whispered the thought that took root in his mind. If she were gone, we could have everything. That night, under a sky smothered in black clouds, he invited Xiaoyun for a walk by the stream. He told her he wanted to mend what was broken. Hope flickered in her chest like a dying candle. She wore the white dress he once said he loved. Beneath the old trees, as she spoke of dreams and forgiveness, Weihao's hands tightened around her throat. Her eyes widened, shock, fear, betrayal, all frozen in that final moment. When her body went still, he dragged her to the stream and let the water take her away. Later, he returned home, breath calm, clothes damp. He reported his wife missing, saying she had vanished after an argument. The villagers whispered. Some said the spirits of the house had taken her, others suspected the husband, but the stream kept its secrets well. Part 4. The Returning Spirit. After that night, peace never came. At first it was the sounds, footsteps in the corridor, soft and slow, the flicker of the oil lamp without wind. Then, one night, Weihao woke to see a woman standing in the corner of the room, her long hair dripping wet, her white dress clinging to her body. He screamed and switched on the light. No one was there. But her scent lingered. Jasmine. Xiaoyun's perfume. Days turned to nights of terror. The old mirror in the living room cracked on its own, the fissures forming the shape of a distorted, agonized face. Sometimes water dripped from the ceiling, though it hadn't rained for days. In his dreams, Xiaoyun appeared, her eyes pale and lifeless, whispering through the rush of dark water. "Why, Weihao? Why?" Even Mengyao began to sense it. She told him she felt watched, that unseen eyes followed her every move. One night, while bathing, the clear water turned crimson. She screamed, fleeing naked from the room. Weihao tried to calm her, but the terror had already taken root. Part 5. The Night of Reckoning. A month after Xiaoyun's death, Weihao decided to sell the house and leave the town for good. To celebrate, he invited Mengyao over. They drank, laughed, and spoke of the future. Then at midnight, the lamps went out. A cold wind swept through the sealed room. Mengyao clutched his arm, trembling. "Do you hear that?" she whispered. From the staircase came the sound of wet footsteps, dragging, heavy. Then a voice, soft, broken yet filled with venom. "Weihao, Mengyao." They turned toward the sound. In the dim flicker of the dying lamp stood Xiaoyun. Her white dress was soaked, hair clinging to her pale face, water dripping from her fingers, a dark stain spread beneath her feet. "Why?" she hissed. "You took everything from me." Meng Yao fell to the floor, sobbing. Xiaoyun's ghost didn't look at her. Her dead white eyes locked on Wei Hao. He tried to run, but the doors would not open. Something unseen held them shut. The ghost stepped closer, leaving a trail of red water in her wake. Her final words were a whisper that cut like steel. "You will never escape." Part 6. The Price of Sin. The next morning, the villagers found the old house eerily silent. Inside, Li Mengyao sat in a corner, her hair turned completely white, muttering incoherently about the woman in white. Down by the stream, they found Zhang Weihao's body. His face was frozen in horror, eyes wide as if he had seen something beyond human comprehension. There were no signs of struggle, only dark bruises around his neck, shaped like a woman's hands. The house was abandoned after that. No one dared live there again. On moonless nights, people still claim to hear the weeping of a woman by the stream, and sometimes if you stand near the forest's edge, you might glimpse a figure in white drifting through the mist, searching for justice in death.